Hello, I'm Emilia Maro. I'm male to female help straight transgender woman who live in Suicidal, and welcome in my channel. I hope we have met before. Today I was looking for some topic which could catch anyone interest, because last week I was talking about art and what mean for me art and what could mean for other ones, and like I expected, already nobody watched the videos, so I know people really interested in art, but still I would like not to talk about again dating, mostly because at the moment I start to think it's a wasting of time. We just got the news in the weekend till first beginning of May. We don't open up, not even if our numbers are good enough. So to meet personally with anyone is impossible, and I get tired from the same questions to answer all the time, and with time, I don't know how with other ones, the interest of men are decreasing, sometimes dramatically, sometimes slowly, but the intensity became lower and lower until they simply disappear. And I'm wondering all this time which I was investing in it had any meaning. And it's sometimes really hard, and mostly in the weekends. So let's talk about some consequences of this lockdown and to be alone without a proper income. And I guess that's topic something which, if the statistic true, most of the transgender facing maybe more than one time, it's when you became suicidal. Actually, this weekend I was not. 3 weeks ago, now I'm much better. I can manage my depression, if it's depression, because it's funny, I called up my physiologist and I get appointment in 3 weeks, but it already gave me a hope I can solve the problem, mostly with the sleeping, which usually if I cannot sleep, of course I'm collapse much easier. But actually he told me I'm quite good. I told him everything about my real suicidal try the last year, and after that this year, when I really have the average days when I'm relatively work properly, I mean mentally and physically, and the collapse day which starts to be more and more, because like I mentioned a few thousand times in this channel, I'm in quarantine, we can say, because I hardly can left the flat from 1st of November, so it starts to be really hard. But I was searching for other YouTube channels, what I can push my mind away. I was not really successful, because I find on the channel of Jubilee again a discussion with suicidal survivors about their attempts, with followed by questions and the answer, and they said their opinion about or their experience, and this touched me deeply. Because now I can recognize the moment when I'm in danger for suicide, and I try to avoid these moments, or I have a kind of strategy what I can do when I feel like this. but I didn't really want it to look deeply in the moment when I achieved that. And this video was absolutely wonderful. Like usual, this channel I really like because it puts you deeply thinking what is happening with you when you get suicidal, and with questions like, when you get suicidal, you really ready to die? And like one of the guys said, I'm not always ready to die. Sometimes, and nowadays it was more like that, I simply need attention. And it's sad. So this lockdown is really not natural for me. I remember when 3 weeks ago I was really taking the pills. My ex realized it, and of course he realized it because I wanted him to realize, and finally we was wrestling, I can say, and that made me happy. And I told him after, of course not immediately, I was so missing physical human touch even when we was fighting. It's crazy. That moment, I felt I'm happy because someone touched me. Is it desperate? Sure, but who is not desperate when try to make suicide? So I was not really ready to die. I not really wanted to die. I wanted to feel I exist. And also, one other question was for me really interesting. When you plan to do it or you are doing it, is actually you think on your loved ones or not? And I can say, yeah, but I'm only a problem for them, with big career, with safety existence, and big fan cries are on me, which no one expected in my family, and also me not. When this period now, with all this loneliness, and you cannot do really anything for yourself, I mean, they just take away all the possibility to make your life okay for you, or for me it's like this. And then I feel it could be very easier for them, even for my ex. We are living together like really like brother and sister, and we have a kind of close familiar connection. I mean, it's like family. But even I think when I'm there, sorry, I will not gonna cry. It would be for him easier because at the moment I'm absolutely dependent on him. In every kind of way, because I don't met with other people, I'm not socializing, I'm financially slowly became in bankruptcy, blah blah blah. So, and emotionally, of course, I'm dependent on him because he's the only person which I can chat. So, yeah, and I know my problems are real. I mean, who can say, when you have no chance to find a job, when you cannot go out and do your own profession, and you cannot have support or give support for anyone, or even you cannot meet with people who are really loved, I mean friends and family. Like my grandma, my family cheer me up with the news. Her situation in health is dramatically became worse and worse. So, and because she's my mother in real, yeah, it's not makes me happy. I cannot say goodbye. So this video makes me think on all these things, and I was talking about, yeah, it's when you are over in the suicidal moment, you realize to live it's much better, and of course these moments are really selfish moments, and I agree with that because I'm thinking on myself also. If I'm thinking I could mix rather one life easier. uh, but yeah, still it's a kind of like to be transgender. You cannot give up. I mean, somehow I really only achieved one time when I was ready to die, and I actually wanted to die, but it's also, I realize it's, and I don't know how other of us managed that, but the story was I had to work in that time, so my situation was far not that much hopeless than now, and in a way I had company because I had the guest, which makes me the work, of course, and that my ex, and I had the dog. That makes me a kind of vicious cycle. Day by day, I had to manage things and work. So it was far not that tragic like now when I'm doing this to share my view. But it's in a kind of phase interest me, and I really hope someone can get something from these videos. But that's all. I mean, the painting I given up, it stressed me so much because all my exhibition was cancelled. I had no achievement online and whatever, and so I again lose my self-esteem because I don't meet with anyone who can give me a real feedback. I know online, I mix photos, but I'm always saying these photos for me, more art is not me. It's a kind of fantasy which I like to have about myself. So when somebody say I'm how gorgeous I am on these photos and so on, and I'm thinking, yeah, I'm a visual artist. In real, I'm not sure you could like me that much. So all these things are not really, I do or I don't do, really not really matter. But then, when I was really ready to die, I had things to do. I actually had I supported my ex financially because I had income and he had big troubles. So I could have found meaning, to not get that desperate. And in a way it was the reason I'm in transition, because you lose your old self, or I guess in my age I had a kind of familiarity with myself. But you don't get a new one because you build up your own build, not only by yourself, you really need the socialization forget it. And still, I achieved the moment, and that was a really desperate moment. I wanted to make my morning, the breakfast and so on, like all the time I did for the guests and for prepare the things. And I was studying, it's not terrible, but I was making practices more than a year for vocal feminization. And I did that and so on, and I could not start the day. I just have broken down and cried like crazy, and I said, I cannot do. I'm not able. I cannot do this again. And then comes the moment with it, to end. And I said, of course, goodbye messages for my best friends and the actual love of my life, who called the police to check me up. And then my ex realized the situation is serious, and also my friends in Hungary wrote him on Facebook. He should check on me because I'm not the person who usually do something like this. That was the first time in my life. And yeah, when the police show up, I was laughing because they could only speak Italian. They asked me if I'm fine. I said I'm fine, and that was all. And I was laughing, and I wrote a message which absolutely hurted my love of my life for forever, which I don't think is crazy because actually I was making a sarcastic joke. I mean, what can the police do for someone who is mentally have problem when they simply not able to communicate with me? So still, it was an alarm for my ex, and then when I actually wanted to cut up myself, then he stopped me. And after that, I got drunk. I could sleep because usually that's a stupid Hungarian method solving problem with alcohol. But I know when I'm drinking, I'm able to sleep. So I got drunk. I don't need so much, 1.5 glass of wine, and I was done. And in midday, I wanted to continue the day. I mean, I could at least, I calmed down a little and I thought, okay, I continued the day. And it just happened again. I started to cry and I could not act how I want. It was like you don't have control on your own. And then I realized I really need help. And I asked my ex to find someone who can help on this because okay, I don't make suicide, but something I have to do because you have to manage somehow. And I got better that much. He brought me to the ambulatory here in the closest city, and I dressed up normally, like now, so it's nothing special, I didn't want to be attractive or anything. But I looked like a woman. And of course, officially, I'm a man. So after the first try of going in, COVID was already, you could not just pop in the hospital, you had to have receipt, you had to have measure the stuff, you have to declare you was not contacted with the COVID or whatever. And of course, they make separate entrance for separate things, but we didn't know where we have to go exactly. So every time, and it was minimum 3 times, we try to enter the hospital. They identify me, and until they don't saw my documents, it was okay, but then they comes and look. And I already thought, okay, what the hell I talked? I mean, how they could help me? My problem, they could not push away, and they just humiliating me continuously. And finally, I could go to the psychologist there. She only could speak Italian, and I cannot. So it was the perfect English humor situation. I cannot think on other things, and I was already laughing in myself. I said incredible. And I understand Italian. She was telling me I should calm down because everybody suffer. For everyone is really hard time. I have to have more patience. Thanks. Is it hard for anyone? I don't know. But I got over on the stuff because I realized again, no one can help me. I can decide, if I help on myself or not. And yeah, but the next day I worked again like before. I'm professional enough. My guests didn't recognize I had a suicide attempt in the previous day, so everything went forward. But this was in a way for me a dramatic event, and I didn't tell for a while for not so many people, only who I thought is close to me, and many friends left. So I had to realize I really depend on myself because no one wants a person with really difficult problems, and if it's not fun, then then it's over the relation. What can I say? And it was really interesting, this ULE channel, to watch how many reasons and how you can achieve that moment. And I can say now was different again, because actually I didn't want to die. I had different reasons, and I had different things to think on why I achieved that moment. And fortunately, after, it's not the second time when I feel I'm achieved that moment. I have a kind of routine what I try to do to not get in that state. So I don't know if anyone could study about anything about this, but yeah, lockdown, I guess it's really hard for anyone. And yeah, my best friends say for me I should do things which I really like. And in that day I also find really great reportage about books. So I know what I would like to read again. And it was really great philosophical, but I know that's another topic which no one really wished to watch. I think if you achieve the moment like me, when you simply break down and you feel you cannot go forward, you really need a good friend, or call a hotline, or just go out if you can. Also, if it's only the ambulatory. I remember also for me to dress up and care a little how I look, it made me already more stable. And if you just stay at home and be alone and with your thoughts, like I had. Also, if physically I was not alone, but I could not talk about things with anyone seriously. And yeah, if you talk, also not always have, because they not really can help you sometimes, of course. So to listen someone new, it's really become, that's why the helplines. But for example, who is close to you, maybe you could be something more. I mean, for example, about my ex, who really could imagine what's going on, but yeah, now he's more aware of what I have hard times. So this video now, it's a little bit more personal, and I hope I didn't disappoint so many people. If you like this video, thumbs up. I don't know if it's prepared at the moment, or subscribe to my channel, that's really prepared. And let me talk about that, because I will just get my next birthday alone, and I'm not a really fan of it. Have a nice day. Like you see, the spring is coming. Bye bye.